Hi, and a great big warm welcome to the Ask Zofie podcast, season 2, episode 33. Before I forget, today is going to be the last podcast ever. No, not ever. Oh, how many tears were you about to shed? No, today is going to be the last podcast that I record before September. I'm going to take some time out. If you follow me on Instagram or you're in my membership, then you might have seen that I recently have had a flare up with my hypothyroidism. And long story short, also because I've got the kids off over the summer, I am going to take some time to chill. So let's go out with a bang. That sounds rude to me. I can't say anything today. Okay, so this is episode 33, season 2. It's Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday today. I'm about to launch my beloved program Reframe this coming Friday. So this episode, have I given it a name yet? No, I haven't. Okay, I've just said on my notes favorite reframes. So I'll call it something like that. Who knows? I'm sure it was something super catchy. It may well just be my favorite reframes. In fact, it probably will. But anyway, in celebration of the fact that Reframe is launching on Friday, I am talking about some of my favorite reframes. But before I get into that, a few things. Okay, firstly, let me share about Reframe. I'm probably going to forget some of this, but basically from Friday for a week is going to be launch week. Makes sense, right? And to celebrate the launch, I am sharing loads of really cool bonuses. So this is why I think I'm going to forget some of them. If you sign up in launch week, number one, usually Reframe is going to be £299. In launch week, it will be £149. In other words, half price, there or thereabouts. So what else am I doing? First 5 signups, I will send a hard copy cover why can't I say this? Hardback copy of Love Notes. Secondly, what else is there? If you join, before I forget the date now, the masterclass, the associated masterclass is going to be soon. And so if you join in the launch period, then you will be able to join that live. Also, you will be able to get one coaching session with me for half price of what it usually is. It's usually not that much, relatively speaking, anyway, but it will be £50 only if you sign up, or you'll get your Reframe mug as well. Everybody will get one of those. And also for 3 months, you'll get 25% off any one-to-ones. And something I'm really excited about is if you join in that launch period, anyone that joins then, plus the people that joined in pre-sale, I'm going to put all your names in a hat, a metaphorical hat. I don't know how I'll do it yet, but I'm going to pick one person, and that one person is going to get the 3-month coaching package with me, my Manifest Anything coaching package. And I am so excited about that. I think that might be everything, but like I said, I've probably forgotten something. I'll share it in the show notes. Share it in the show notes. Why does that sound weird? It's not that easy to say, but anyway, I'll share it in the show notes, and hopefully I haven't missed anything. Yeah, DM me or drop me an email or a message if you want to be on the wait list, but it will be out from Friday. Or the other thing, by the way, once you've signed up and you've become a reframer, you will be able to be one of my affiliates. And the upshot was that the short version is anyone that you recommend Reframe to, you will get 50% of the profits from that sale. Because like a lot of people say, oh, I don't want any money from you, Zofie, I want to share, but I want to share my gains. I want it to be win-win-win. And how freaking cool is that? Just by enjoying something, getting the benefit, sharing it, and then you get 50% of the profits. Anyway, I will shut up on that. So I'm going to do one behind the scenes, I think. And it's a biggie. But before I do that, I'm going to share from Love Notes. And I was saying about this, I just recorded a video for the sales page for Reframe. and I think this is where I shared that, but I might be wrong, how there's an energy to Reframe, and it is freaking pure, and it is so high vibrational, and it's so loving. Same said of this book. Does that make any sense? But you know what I mean? The same can be said. It's true that it's the same when it comes to this book, when it comes to love notes. I would say to you, I would say to myself, if you are, I don't know why my thing is flashing in front of me. I don't even know what that thing's called. It's my piece of equipment. That sounds pretty weird. Anyway, sorry. It was distracting me, and I don't know why it was doing that. Hopefully I haven't like really messed up with the sound. I'm just checking my recording now. Am I recording? Okay, remember that one where I didn't record the whole episode. But yeah, I would say to you, I haven't had caffeine, by the way, in case you're wondering. Just the energy of this book, like if you feel crap, if you feel low, lonely, less than, then just have this near you, whether or not you even open up to a freaking page. And I would say the same about the meditations I make, meditations in the member area, and also of Reframe. It's just the energy of it is so freaking just pure, and there's so much love in it that's just healing. Okay, let's see what comes up for us today from Love Notes. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that my hallway has been decorated. The floor is to be done. The stinky, and you can kind of almost see it on my screen here, old underfloor heating, what's it called, thermostat thing, is still on the wall, which I do not like the aesthetic of, but that will be going, so I'm going to get some new heating before, I was going to say Christmas then, before winter. But it's getting there. So there's no more, because what do we have? We probably had the crappy ceiling, then the newly plastered ceiling, the half decorated, and now it's painted. How cool is that? Okay, so let's see what comes up for us. Okay, I'm gonna read both pages. So the first is really succinct, page 104. I am the ultimate balm, ointment of the divine. Page 105, this is much longer. Okay, whatever it takes. This was my promise I made to you, and I make it over and over. Never will I stop. Never will it fade, whatever it takes. You might hate, disagree, fail to see, I care not. My love persists through all and always. I hate not, never disagree. I am the light to help you see. Okay, I'm just going to leave that there. Right, before I get into some of my favorite reframes, I'm going to share my behind the scenes. Okay, are you ready for the drama of this? I am announcing a major breakup in my life. Dun, dun, dun. It's a relationship that I have been in for more than 20 years, I want to say. Long story short, I bought something, one of many things that I've bought over the years from Zara, and I bought two of these items, and one of them I didn't even try on because I tried on the one that it actually fit me. So I just folded it back up, put it back in the box with a bunch of other stuff, returned it, and then they returned it to me and said that it was not in unworn condition, so they weren't going to refund me. And I spoke to them. Well, I tried to speak to a human, but it's not very easy to speak to a human at Zara, so it seems. And even the humans you speak to, you're like, are you a bot? Are you AI? Because you're so robotic, you might not be actually human. Anyway, they were like, no, it's our policy, this is our solution. And I'm like, it's $15.99, right? It's not a lot of money to most people, but it was, they were having none of the fact that I hadn't even tried this freaking thing on. It was their decision, it was their policy. And I had some like not very nice conversations. I did actually manage to speak to two people in the end. They ran me back, and I was peeved that I wasn't, the anger didn't take me over because I've done so much work on myself, but I was angry at them because they just weren't listening to me. They weren't budging. And so I've decided, okay, I can keep buying from them. It's not bad, it's not wrong, but I really don't want to be treated like that. And I don't really want to be involved in a company or with a company like that. So I'm voting with my feet, and like, I'm not going to shop at Zara anymore. And so if you have any alternatives, please share. I'm thinking H&M. I'm thinking, what else have I come up with? ASOS, Pull and Bear. I haven't really bought much in there, but let me know where you suggest. So I have broken up with Zara. Yeah, can you believe it? If my sister is listening or watching, she will be like, no, she cannot believe it. Okay, and also actually speaking of my sister, she kindly let me know that you were able to register for Taylor Swift tickets because she's coming to the UK whenever it was, I forget, Tuesday last week, I can't remember. So I've registered and I've told my daughter it's already done. We've manifested those tickets, so that's really exciting. Anyway, I've been going on and on. Who knows even how long? I'm trying to see how long I've been recording for. Way too long before I've even got to the topic. Okay, some of my favorite reframes. And of course, the reason I made Reframe, the reason it's called Reframe is because I've just realized after so many years in this game that so much of this self-development, work on self and so on and so forth is about flipping the script, seeing things differently, stepping into a different perspective or point of view, reframing things. It is so potent and powerful and just poignant. Let's say all the piece. Okay, so what's my first one I've written down? Yes, okay. So instead of thinking life is just randomly happening to me, like so many people, maybe not you if you're listening to this podcast and you're kind of in my world, but all of us probably at some point, and certainly some people still, have this idea that things just randomly happen. And that's scary for one, and it's untrue for two, really disempowering. And it's like, no, it's not just these random things can happen to you at any point in time. There is, the way I describe it to children when I work with kids is that all of life is like a mirror reflecting back to you externally how you feel on the inside. So fundamentally, ultimately, when you shift on the inside, things must change on the outside to reflect that back to you. And so as a rule, if you're feeling good, things just tend to go well, and if you're not, they don't. Of course, it's a bit more complex than that, but ultimately you can hang your hat on the fact that changing on the inside, improving, up-leveling, feeling better will net you impact, effect, results externally. So it's not just a bunch of random events that you can't possibly there's no rhyme or reason to happening to you. Life is happening for you, and it is responding to you. So one, when you change, it changes. And two, everything is for you. The entire universe is conspiring in your favor. I know that when things are not going to plan, when things are not quite, when they're not going well, it can feel like this cannot be truth, but it is invariably, it is always true, no matter how it seems. Life isn't trying to be mean to you, beat up on you. When I was at the gym earlier, what was it I thought? I thought something like this sort of comment from the divine along the lines of, I will never take from you what is best for you. Like, that's just not how God, the universe, your soul, the divine works. It's loving, it's benevolent, it always wants what's best for you, and it's always doing its best to bring that to you. But we often unwittingly, but we block ourselves. So it's all for you, and it's all responding to you. There's nothing random happening, crazy stuff that's just going to come and assert itself into, oh my God, my mind, assert itself into your existence. Okay, this one is just freaking massive. Okay. Oh, how often do we get tripped up by this? How often have I been tripped up by this? This idea of get happy then. No, not get, I'll be happy when. Oh my goodness, I've already reframed it. Which reminds me, I knew I had something else to say at the start. The other thing I wanted to say at the start is, as I prepare to launch Reframe, this really commonly happens to people in my kind of line of work. You're teaching on something, and guess what? The universe goes, right, let's give you an opportunity, the chance to embody this more fully so that you can teach it more powerfully. And so I was feeling tired, lethargic because of my thyroid thing, and there's part of me that's like, right, you can you don't feel great, but you can rest once you've got Reframe out. But it's like, no, and I can't, I've got this, I don't think I can find it on my phone, but this thing came through to me with God speaking to me where it said it's a time for deep rest, something like deep rest, full faith, true love. It wasn't that, but it was something like that. And it's like my mind was telling me, relax when you've got Reframe out. And it was like, you got to relax already. And then let God do the heavy lifting. Let the universe step in and support you. That for me right now is my lesson. And I'm embodying that, and I am living that. I am resisting any of those thoughts that say you've got to push and hustle and so on and so forth. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. But yeah, this Reframe, we have this idea of I'll be happy when, there's always the last £7 weight we want to lose, or that £1,000,000 we want to achieve, or just when I've got a baby, when the baby's a bit bigger, when I'm found the man or woman of my dreams, oh God, when they're gone, whatever it is. And this is such a blocker for us because, like I've said, the universe wants to bring you everything you desire and then some, all your stuff with, what's that saying, with bells on? Yeah, just all of it and more. But when you're not an energetic match to it, it can't bring you that. So you've got to go first. You've got to make those inner shifts, as I was just talking about with my first point, first, and then life can step in and marry that with what you experience in the physical, can match that with what you've felt first. So you can see how, if we're waiting, like I'll be happy when, I'll relax when, yeah, of course it is easier to relax when, I don't know, the kids are away for a bit, or you've not got like a big project at work to deal with or whatever. But if you fundamentally have that belief system, it just blocks you. It just holds you back. There's something else I was going to say, but it's gone. Hopefully it will come back to me. Okay, that is just such a biggie. So instead of thinking, have I written this down as well? Yeah, okay, this is my next point actually, so cool. Yeah, which kind of, the last point leads nicely onto this. I shared on this on Instagram yesterday, I think it was. You don't need to worry about how what you want to happen will happen. Your job is to focus on how you'll feel once it's happened. And actually, before I go into this, the other thing I wanted to say was, this landed more powerfully for me recently. So you know how if you're on a plane and, let's just say for argument's sake, you are flying to Paris, and there's 10 planes all ready to go, and they've all got their different slots for takeoff. If you're third in the queue and then your pilot decides, oh, actually, I just want to nip back and get something from duty free. So we're going to come out the queue. I'm going to go to duty free, and then I'm going to get back in the queue. Of course, you lose your slot for takeoff. So they don't do that, I don't think, because that'd be weird. And it'd be inconvenient. You've got to stay in the queue. Now, one of the things that commonly happens is people become an energetic match to the thing, but then the thing isn't showing up in like 2 seconds because that's how so much of this world works nowadays, right? And we expect it to be the same with our manifestations, and it isn't always that way. And then they get out the queue, metaphorically speaking. You've got to stay in the queue. So it's get happy then, but get happy and stay happy until, and keep the faith, even when, especially when it doesn't look like what you're wanting is coming to you, because it's law. If you're an energetic match to something and you stay consistent in divine timing, that or something even better must be yours. Okay, so yeah, as I started to say, don't worry about how it will happen. Let's use the example. Okay, say you work as a teacher and you want £1 million for whatever reason. You want £1 million, and you're like, well, I can feel wealthy, I can feel abundant, I can feel all the feelings of having that money, like I can feel free, and I can feel blessed, and I can feel taken care of. And then the mind goes, but I'm a teacher. Teachers earn, whatever it is, depending on your level, let's just say 20 grand a year. So how am I going to get £1 million? That's not your business, okay? There are myriad ways that you could acquire that money, and it can be helpful actually to sit and do that. Like in this example, you're a teacher and you're like, okay, how could I possibly get £1 million? And you might write down win the lottery, meet a rich guy or girl, come up with some idea that I patent that makes me loads of money, a wealthy relative I don't even know exists passes away and leaves me money. All the different ways. And most of the time it will come from something you don't even think of. But the point being, whether you're a teacher or a doctor or a vet, or you work in a shop or you're a surgeon, whatever it is, that is irrelevant. If you're an energetic match to abundance, it has to come through. And sure, if you're doing a job where it's easy to come through your job, that's probably the way the universe is going to deliver it to you. But it might not, and it needn't use only that one avenue. So the reframe is, you don't need to think about how am I going to do this? How's the universe going to deliver this? How is this going to happen? That's like the last piece of the equation. Your job, for want of a better word, is to focus on how you're going to feel with that £1 million in the bank, or with that lover in your bed, or with that those last £7 lost, whatever it might be. Feel the feels of that. Stay there. Don't leave the queue. Don't miss your slot, and know that in divine timing, it or something better must be yours. Okay, what's my final one? Yeah, I've talked about this before. And it's probably my most favorite reframe of all the reframes of all time. So there was a time when one of the many times in my life when I remember I was sitting on my sofa, and funny story about that, I've just got a new sofa. My old one, my trusty old sofa, was awesome. It's probably, I don't know, how old you are, 14, maybe 15 years old. It's so comfy and so great. And part of me didn't want to get rid of it, but I knew it was time for a new sofa. So I bought a new one, and I gave the old one to my brother, and he came over on the weekend to collect it. And he's like, oh, this is nice about my new sofa. And he said to his daughter, check this out, Lola, in 10 years time, this is going to be our new sofa. Anyway, I was sitting on the old sofa, and it was in one of my, and I have had many of these, which is why I get you, I see you if you are feeling lost, less than, lonely, alone, any of that stuff, where you're really like yearning in desperate energy. And I spent a lot of my life feeling that, for because of something that happened in my childhood, feeling this love that I wasn't getting from a certain person. So I know that energy so well. But I was saying, to the way I think of it, saying to God, like, where are you? I need you. Like, come to me. And then what I heard back was, Zofie, where are you? I need you. Come to me. And it was such a poignant moment I can't even begin to describe to you. It's so humbling to realize, my God, there is this essence, this benevolent force, this source of all that wants that from me, from you, from all of us. And the yearning that I feel is the yearning of that divine, and just flipping that anytime you're like, oh, why isn't this coming to me? Why isn't this working out? Know that your divinity wants you to have that, wants to give it to you, to bring it to you, wants for it to work out for you. But there's a block that you're putting in the way, most likely, unless it's not quite divine timing yet. Most likely it's the former, and it wants to give that to you. And it's like Rumi said, what you seeks you. And the second I make it about something more than me, about my divinity, and think like, whoa, that, I think it's Hafiz that said, and I'm going to butcher this, something like, even after all these years, the sun never says to the moon, you owe me. I hope I've got that the right way around. But it's that kind of thing. Like, think of how much the divine does on the regular, 24/7, for each of us, that so commonly gets misconstrued, unseen, lost in translation, and not appreciated. But there's no, throwing the toys out the pram, dumming out the pram, baby out with the bathwater. I can't think of the saying, but there's no like stamping of the feet of the divine, like, but yeah, it's just that love, that giving is omnipresent. And the second for me that I flip it like that, it's like, okay, okay, it's not me being unloved. It's also that essence that wants that love from me and it's trying to get that love through. How can I release this block? How can I make it about something bigger than, more than me? Just like and I just can feel the emotion coming now. When that happened to me, it was just indescribable. That and I think part of it is probably me realizing just how loved I am, and it's not about me, but how loved you are, how loved we all are, how held by love, in love, this entire universe born of, built on benevolence is held in love. I don't know if I said that right then. By the time I got to the end of the sentence, I forgot what I said at the start. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this podcast is a celebration of me doing the last Ask Zofie before September. I don't know if I'll sneak in before then if I get a burst of energy and a load of time. I also, my two things for this year were to get Reframe out into the world, into people's ears, into people's minds, consciousnesses, hearts, and souls, and to help them, and then to finish writing Living in Faith. And of course, as I was saying earlier, because I'm getting this book finished, or it's on my mind to be my next thing, what am I being called into more of? How funny did that sound? What am I being called into more of? Living in faith, embodying it to the next level with some things, which I guess I'll talk about in the book actually. So yeah, thank you so much for watching or listening. If you know someone who would benefit, who would benefit from or enjoy this podcast, and you'd be happy to share, I would so appreciate it. And if you'd share on your social media, that helps me massively, means so much to me. As I said at the start, any questions on Reframe, please be in touch. And I'll be back, if not before, I'll be back in September. And in the meantime, have an awesome rest of your day. Loads of love from me.